Hey, I'm Guy. You're watching Off My Bridge. That means it must be Tuesday. And, of course, this year we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of Star Trek. And I am interested to see what we will do for the 75th anniversary of Star Trek, because that would be the next big one, I suppose, or the 70th, I suppose. Anyway, one way or another, I'm sure we will be celebrating and enjoying Star Trek as we have been for the past 60 years. Now, the British Science Museum hosted a display of a few Star Trek artifacts, and I was lucky enough to be taken along by my loving partner to go and have a look at these relics and artifacts. These were actual props taken from the TV series and from the films and things and put on display next to the actual science that they kind of relate to or inspired. The first thing that we noticed was that there was a model of a starship that I'd not seen before. And here's the poster for it. Do you notice that the nacelles are more in keeping with the 1980s style of Star Trek starship, whereas the deflector dish is definitely from the original series? I'm not sure where this ship comes from. Is it a concept art? Is it an idea for something in the future? Is it really just, well, this could have been a design from the 80s and we found it and it looked cool? Whatever it is, I think it's very inspiring. And it certainly made me sit back and go, you know what? That's the beauty of these 60 years, is that we can really just look back and kind of go, oh, that was a cool era, that was a fun time, oh, I'd like to go back and explore. And so with Star Trek Adventures 2, that allows us to do that, as we can go and say, hey, this starship's going to come alive. I want to see what this ship is all about. What's this era about? And to do it. And I think that that's absolutely wonderful. So, with a new starship rattling around in our brains, we continued on our journey, and we happened to find this. This is an energy collector that Chekhov used to gather energy from the nuclear reactor of the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier in Voyage Home. And when you look at it, you go, interesting aesthetic choice. Wooden handle, and then very modern day looking technology to gather the energy that Chekhov needed from the nuclear reactor. And next to it, of course, is a mycelium tube used in Discovery for mycelium transport. Two very different ideas of transportation, nuclear power and mycelial networks. When you look at what we are trying to do today with fusion reactors, with solar panels, with wind turbines, with green energy, you think about the journey that we've been on as a species, from burning fossil fuels ad infinitum. The shift to trying to be greener has maybe taken longer than we thought or hoped, but it is definitely on the march. We are moving towards these technologies in a very exciting time. So now when you think about the voyage home, well, thankfully, we still have all the whales that we had in the 1960s and 70s. And we also happen to have better conservation techniques and technologies than they did. And will Chekhov be able to gather some kind of energy from a fusion reactor in the next few years? Well, I don't know. But what a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to look at how far we have come. And I was also very lucky to be taken to the Monterey Bay Aquarium where George and Gracie supposedly lived during that film. And what a wonderful treat. So a big thank you to Jim and Ashley for doing that and taking me there. It was wonderful. All right, next we have someone's head. This was the actual head that was used as B4's head in the film Star Trek Nemesis. And when you see it on screen, you kind of go, oh, it's an interesting prop. It's not a bad head. When you actually see it in real life, you're like, it really does look like a head. The attention to detail is absolutely fantastic and a little bit freaky. When I look at that head, though, I look at the development in robotics that we have had. These feels as if in the last decade, we've gone from concept to robot Olympic Games. We've got Tesla putting robots everywhere. We've got the rise of AI. Data is now more possible than ever before. Of course, not an emotional data, but even in the show, it took him a decade to get his emotion chip sorted and in place. So I think we are on that cusp. The question is, do we have to worry about our Android AI overlords? Are they going to become Terminators, or are they going to become daters? I do hope that they become daters and that we learn to rely on them as much as Picard and the rest of the crew relied on data. But what an exciting time to be alive, that we actually have the prospect for the very first time of having these robotic things in our homes that are almost alive, but are they alive? It makes The Measure of a Man, that wonderful court case that determined Data's sentience, or even the Doctor's court case about holographic rights, it does start to raise some interesting questions. And again, I think that's just the power and the beauty and the genius that was Star Trek, or that is Star Trek. We then found some medical instruments spanning from the original series all the way through to modern day Trek, and you can see the attention to detail, even in the 60s, it was there. It just wasn't particularly futuristic in terms of what they were thinking, but still very advanced for the time. By the time you look at the more modern day instruments, they look modern, they look slick, they look as if they're going to do something fantastical. And you think about how modern medicine has advanced so much. Yes, we're not yet taking retinox or various drugs and things to regain our eyesight or to cure kidney failure. But we are at the point where, and I'm living proof of it, you can take a pill or a small injection, which is you can barely feel it. We're almost at subdermal injectors. We are there for some medicines already. Medicine is moving rapidly in the right direction, I think. And I think Dr. Crusher would have a much easier time with our modern day medicine than with where it was in the 90s. Here's one which makes you feel very proud, I think, to be a human being. Data pads and comm badges. We're not at comm badges just yet, although there are people who will wander around with their phones next to their ears, so they might as well have a comm badge. But unfortunately, the comm badges, you can't play games on them, you can't watch videos on them, and you can't play Meow Doku or whatever those insufferable ads keep trying to get me to do on my phone. But communicators, well, maybe. Data pads we've had since the 90s. They've just gotten smarter and smarter and smarter and more powerful and more powerful. And quite frankly, I don't know what I would do without my, it's not fancy titled data pad. It's a Samsung Tab 10 or whatever it was called. But we are already there. Thank you, Star Trek. So moving forward, Star Trek, what are you going to do? Data pads? Well, I think we're rapidly moving away from them as the technology moves to foldable, bendable, rollable, paper-like screens, or something even more sophisticated, just a neural link or Google Glasses. We're rapidly moving to a new era of display technology. Will Star Trek show us that in the future, in future episodes? Now, something that is sad for me to say, but I have to do it in terms of time and personal management, is this is the last episode of Off My Bridge. It has been an amazing journey, and I have had the most wonderful experiences thanks to your support. And the future of Star Trek is bright. The future of role-playing in Star Trek is bright. I want to be able to play in that world just as much as you do. But making these episodes takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And although it is a lot of fun, I have to devote my energies where they are needed. And so I want to thank you all for your amazing support, your wonderful, wonderful commentary, and to say that I will be continuing to release videos on the original How to Be a Great GM channel as and when they come up on a very ad hoc basis, because I really enjoy interacting with all of you and getting your thoughts and comments and feedback and sharing my ideas and hoping that they inspire you in one small shape or form or another. But it has been a year and a half of Star Trek, and I think I've covered pretty much everything that I need to cover on this subject. So until we meet again at a convention, sitting around a table perhaps, would be wonderful. I wish you and yours long life and happy gaming.